I'm Ryan Hubbard. Welcome back to the Hubbard's Handmade Shop. One of the things that I've always liked about making things is that you can make exactly what you want. It usually starts with something simple, like a box, and then the details get added. And that helps you work out the steps that you need to take to get to the final product you're looking for. I was fortunate to find the drawings for the bed of this truck were already done. I owe somebody a big thank you for that, because it really helped me to figure out all the difficult details. The couple that I'm making this storage chest for also purchased a table from me, and there's a video on my channel for that, and it was made out of this Tennessee red cedar. They must have liked it because that's what they asked for in their new camper. I get these boards at a little bit of a discount because they're a little bit rough and some of them have curve to them. So there's usually a lot of jointing and straightening before I can use them, but they come out just great. Here I am working on the bench seat, and this is going to be one long glue up, and then right before I put them on the box, I'm going to cut them right down the middle to make two lids. I've done these glue ups with and without the Domino Jointer, and I love using it now. It just makes it so much easier to put these boards together, and that saves me a lot of work later trying to flatten the boards out. I left out almost all of using the chop saw to get my boards to the right dimensions. All of them are 3 inches wide, and then it was just a matter of fitting everything into place. Again, I used the Domino Jointer to bring these boards together. It makes a very strong and easy to put together joint. It's a big time saver for me. Here you can see me putting together what will be the front of the box, and I wanted to make sure, of course, that that looked really nice. And then the two sides here, and I left those to glue up overnight. You can see from my plan drawing here that the wheel well was going to leave me with a challenge, so it was just a matter of finding the right dimensions to fit over the wheel well so that the back of the box could fit flush against the side of the truck. Again, I owe a big thank you to a Jim D, whoever you are out there, for doing the original 3D modeling for this Tacoma bed. Saved me a lot of time with my plans, so thank you. There was a lot of sanding involved. I've left a lot of that out, but I sanded all of my parts up to 220 grit. To save on weight in the back of the truck, the inset panels were just made out of 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood. Here I'm using that router bit to make a rabbet around the inside, and I went around twice so that I didn't remove all the material at once. And then when I went around the second time, I used that bearing on top to follow it really closely. And you can see the mess that makes. Even I was covered in chips. What are you gonna do? And then I just did an 1/8-inch roundover bit in my trim router and went around all of my frames and everywhere that was going to be touched around the lid or inside of the box. I trimmed the lid to its final length and cleaned up the edges a little bit, and then I cut it in half, and then I made all of the panels to sit inside of the frames and got those put into place. Because there were so many corners, I decided just to round over each corner to fit in where the rabbeting bit left a rounded corner. Some people leave the panel square and go back and square off all their corners, but this is just faster, and you'd never know unless you open the lid and look inside of the box. With all of my frames finally glued up and parts put together, it was time to assemble the box. I use this trick where you can just clamp your ends together. That way your Domino Jointer has more surface to reference off of there on the top, so it's not tipping back and forth. And that helps you get a nice 90-degree mortise. I found it easier to just glue in all of my dominoes into the end first, and then just put those together with the sides. Of course, with any square or rectangle, if you have the two diagonal measurements the same, then you know that your box is square. And there was just some waiting around to do. Nothing like watching glue dry. I made the bottom of my box out of 3/4 inch plywood just so that I knew that it was nice and sturdy. In the end, I don't think it added much weight. I could pick up this chest by myself and carry it around, so it wasn't too bad. And then just using my speed square to find that inside measurement for the wheel well, I ended up changing that 45-degree measurement to 53 degrees to match my 3D drawings, and then cut that out with the circular saw and jigsaw. I almost got through this whole project without using pocket holes, but it was just the easiest way to attach the bottom. And again, nobody's ever gonna see it, so we'll just keep that a secret between you and me, okay? I attached the first piano hinge to the box with just a couple of screws, and then used these spring clamps to hold the lid in place while I drilled a couple of holes. Then after I got those screws in place, I went back and drilled out all the holes for the other screws. And I repeated that process on the other side. Those spring clamps came in very handy. I'm not sure how other people do it, but I like to have all of those holes drilled before I put any finish on. That way I'm not worried about any shavings being left over when I have finished drying. I've heard a lot about Endurovar and it being a durable finish. I knew that this is going to be in the back of a truck and in a camper, and it's going to be sat on a lot, so I wanted to go with something that would be very hard wearing, and I think it did the trick. After it cured, it was very hard, and I like the finish. And I also attached these slow close lid stays. There's a link to those in the description. I like those a lot. Of course, all of this was done without the truck being present, so when we finally did get the box in there, I was happy to see that everything fit. And this is his cool little tent camper, and you can see out where you sleep and out the front and everything, and there's going to be some other amenities in the back of the truck when he's done with it. My client seemed very happy with how the chest came out, and we got it all installed and screwed into place in there, so it's not going anywhere. Thanks again for watching. This is Ryan Hubbard at Hubbard's Handmade, and I will see you in the next video.